had an update on the condition of the rubber. I made a video about it using the 303 spray. The conditioning of your rubbers, I noticed that when it moves on the glass, it moves a lot different, and it's a lot smoother. But what I did notice is that for those who like to use a lot of soap, that's less friction on the glass, obviously, so your rubbers won't wear down as much. But I was never one to use a lot of soap to make the friction less and prolong my rubbers, because I use ammonia. Ammonia does the same thing without all that foam and bubbles. Now, certain squeegees, well, not certain, but only one squeegee I know that you got to use an extreme amount of soap to actually use it. And these other tools out in the market, Unger, Ettore, you don't need a whole lot of soap to actually make the squeegee work. It's just more or less a preference. But if you use ammonia in conjunction with your soap, you don't have to use as much soap, you'll notice, because ammonia with soap actually makes it more frothy. So you can cut down one of the two, either your ammonia or your bubble solution. And the glide is slick enough as it is. So obviously with ammonia, it dissolves the dirt. So the less dirt on the glass, the less friction and the less problems you'll have with that rubber gripping on the glass. In addition to that, the conditioning of the rubber, you'll notice, if you do it, you'll notice that the rubber glides and performs a lot better on the glass compared to when it comes out the factory. The rubber is a lot softer, and I really do believe that if you have a hard rubber and you decide you want a soft, if you put that stuff on a hard rubber, I think it would turn it into a soft rubber because of the condition of it. I don't know per se for sure, but I will be experimenting with that. I'll get a hard rubber and condition the rubber just to see what happens. But I'm very pleased with the way that came out and the way it moves on the glass. It's a lot more softer and a lot more it has a lot more elasticity compared to the other way before I treated the rubber. Oh, what I meant to say about this rubber too is that I know some people think they know what they're talking about, and for the most part they may, but unless they really actually do it themselves, they're really just talking out their rear end. Because you put more soap to it, yeah, of course it's going to last longer. But just because I don't do it don't necessarily mean that it's going to last longer if I decide to put soap on the mop. But if you actually do it yourself, you'll see for yourself that the rubber glides much different. And because certain people may not want to try new things or different things, it doesn't make it any wrong, it doesn't make it any right. But people are always going to assume that they know what they're talking about. And you can't possibly assume that you're always right, because if you don't try something, then how are you going to know something? It's easy to tell somebody something that, oh, just add more soap and your rubbers will last longer. Or just add more ammonia, your rubbers are going to last longer. The less friction that's on that glass, the longer your rubbers are going to last. But all that being said, is that I've been in the game long enough, and I know the difference between using certain things that I'm used to using for all of my years of cleaning windows, and then I change. You can notice a difference. And if I can notice a difference, I'm sure a lot of you will know the difference. Anything else that other people be talking about, it's just irrelevant. because they haven't really actually tried it themselves. So just because they don't agree with it, a lot of times people will say things that'll just be negative. And that's with anything in life. You know, it's easy for somebody to be negative towards somebody, but it takes a real person to be optimistic and positive and say, hey, you know what, that sounds like a good idea. You know, it doesn't hurt to tell somebody, man, you got a good idea. You know, I'm going to try that. It's a lot easier for somebody who's set in their ways to say, okay, he's wrong. If he just do this, if he just do that, you know, forget about all these concoctions. Yeah, well, I'm sorry if some of you guys aren't experimenting and aren't trying to make fun of your job. You know, sometimes you just got to keep things interesting in order to stay more involved in your trade. It becomes a job once you just do things day in and day out. Trying new things is a way of showing that you're interested and keep moving forward. I also had to add about the conditioning rubber is that I purposely had it resting against the corner of a bucket. I usually have a bucket in the back of my car and I stick my tools in, and I had the rubber resting against the corner of it. Now keep in mind, it gets sub-zero temperatures at night where I'm at. Hold on, let me put this belt on. And I purposely had it resting against the corner of the bucket. And that's a no-no. You're never supposed to have that rubber resting on anything because it can actually make a permanent crease. And when you go to squeegee the window, you'll find out it leaves lines and all this other crap behind. But check this out. I did not have that issue. Because of the rubber being so conditioned, and it changes the elasticity of the rubber, it bounces back to its normal shape. It doesn't leave a permanent crease. So, you know, for people to say, oh, you don't need all that stuff, you don't need to do that with your rubbers, just leave it alone. Yeah, well, of course, these manufacturers who make these rubbers, they're probably not going to like this video, and I don't really care, because if it saves and preserves my rubber and helps keep the rubber nicer longer, and it glides longer, you know, hey, that's all that I'm concerned about. All the other stuff that people be talking about is irrelevant. All I know, it works, and y'all can try it or don't. I really don't care. But there you have it.